Yo, what's up guys, it's me Jake here, and today we're going to be doing another first impressions review. Now before we get into that, if you like this video, please go down there and hit that like and subscribe button, or if you like my content, if you want more, then please follow my socials of Instagram or Twitter, or if you just like weebs talking about otaku stuff, please follow the podcast, which will be in the link in the description below. Same with my co-host, drop all of them a sub. But while we're into this video, I want to say that I've been waiting for this series to get 3 volumes for a while. I want to make a first impressions review at 3 volumes for the series because volumes are very short reads. Like, I can read them in like 10 minutes if that, so it really is just really fast reads. So I want to get a little more content for it, and usually I'll want to get 3 volumes, but sometimes if I really enjoy a series, I'll make a first impressions review off the first 2 volumes around. So yeah, let's just get straight into the video though. So yeah, see you there. Now, what series might you be asking for this first impressions review? And that is Gigant. Now, I've been waiting for 3 volumes of Gigant for a while to come out, and I don't know how I should feel about this series. It's my first series manga-wise by Hiro Oku. I watched Inuyashiki, I liked that series, but for my first manga by Hiro Oku, I feel like it's definitely not the way I should go, because I heard this is probably the worst out of like the 3 main things he's written of Gantz, Inuyashiki, and Gigant, but it's very weird. The premise is very interesting, I'll say that, but the characters are very annoying in my opinion, and I just don't see how there's anywhere to go with this series. It's a really just mid-series in my opinion. I think it's the most 5 out of 10 thing I've seen, and it's only because the premise is so interesting that it really gets that 5 out of 10, because the characters are really annoying to me. But if you want a little bit of synopsis, here is one if you want to pause that, but I shall also say my own of there's this kid named Ray who's very into this girl who is a adult actress, but she is kind of a mixed adult actress. She's like half Japanese, half Swedish, and she lives in Japan right now, and that's actually not important at all, but let's just get into the important parts. So Ray somehow meets her, and they start talking to each other and become friends, and while this goes on, she gets something on her wrist that makes her so she can go gigantic, but she can't like grow smaller. I thought she could when I got these, but she can't. She can only grow in size, and she uses that to help people, and she also uses it in her adult videos, which is kind of funny because there's a scene of that. But basically, there's this website going around called ETE. Now, what does ETE do? You might be asking. Well, ETE is something that people vote on for disasters that will happen in Japan, and whatever wins the vote, the disaster happens. And that is something really interesting that I like, is how it's like a voting system that makes it so these disasters happen, because if it wasn't, then that would just make no sense. But having that and her be able to go gigantic and help people really is just an interesting premise to me, how there's this really weird website that no one knows anything about, but people are voting on these things and submitting what they want to happen into this website for people to vote on, and then it happening is really interesting to me. Now, I've heard from many fans of Hiro Oku how he can make really bizarre stories very good. Now, the volume 3 is probably my favorite volume, I will admit. The first 2 volumes are very weak. They literally just brought nothing upon the table. It was just basically fan service bait. It really is just fan service, just the whole series. It's just showing her private parts of her upper side off the whole time. Like, it's just not fun just to see that all the time. It's just it got oversaturated, kind of like Junji Ito. But I think this series is like a solid 5 out of 10. Just purely for the premise alone. The characters, the main character, I hate the main character just so much. He's just the most whiniest character I've seen in almost all of manga and anime. He's just not for me. He's just very bad. Papiko, which is this pink hair girl, she's pretty interesting. I don't mind Papiko. Her character arc is kind of cool, but nothing else to say about that. But those are the only 2 characters that really matter in this series. Everyone else doesn't matter at all. Basically, his best friend and him want to make a movie at one point. That just gets completely scrapped because he meets her, and then nothing happens with that character arc. And I'm like, but why? And then there's so much that could have happened with this and just didn't. And that's probably why I didn't like this series, because they hinted at a lot of things that they didn't follow up on, and that's something I don't like in manga. Like, if you're gonna hint at something, I'd rather have it followed up on, but since it didn't get followed up on, I didn't really find interest in the series too much. The only interesting parts were the action in Volume 3, because this volume did bring upon a lot of action, and I really did enjoy that, but I don't see how I can continue this like just wanting to see action, because this is not going to be just an action-oriented series. This is going to be more of probably a mystery series, figuring out how to get ETE just to get to it and try to destroy it. But I don't know if I'm just going to continue this or not, because this was a really good volume, but these two were just really bad. And I don't know if this was just luck that was a good volume, or these two were just that much worse and it's getting better, because it's hard to say. I don't know if this is going to continue to be good from that third volume, because I would give the third volume like a solid 7 out of 10. This is a good 7.5 to 7 out of 10. These are just solid like 4 to 5s. Maybe even a 3. I don't know how to say it. It's just bad. They don't follow up on anything, and it's just so annoying to see that. Well, this actually had a lot of stuff happen in it that was very bizarre but interesting to see. And that's probably why I liked it. And it also had a lot of action in the beginning, and then it brought upon the consequences of that actions later on, and it really did show that there was consequences to actions, and I really did enjoy that part. But everything else was just not that great. Now, this is probably my first impressions review where I'm not liking a series, I think, and it's for Gigant. I really just think this is the most solid 5 out of 10. If you like fan service or like just breast alone, you should probably pick this up. But if you're a Hiroya Oku fan, also if you want to pick it up, you can, but otherwise, I really don't suggest picking this up. It's not really that amazing. I don't really see anything happening in the future of this. Now, I might be changing my mind with Volumes 4 and 5. If they stay at the level of Volume 3, I'm going to continue picking this up for a couple more volumes, seeing how I enjoy it, just to see if it stays at the level of Volume 3, because if it does, I will probably keep picking this up. But if it stays at the levels of Volumes 1 and 2, I will just sell these off right away, because I'm not going to want to continue this. Now, there is a couple series I do want to read by Hiroya Oku, like Inuyashiki and Gans, but I think that reading Gigant as my first manga from him was definitely a big mistake. I think it definitely had a lot of promise, but it didn't follow up on it. So I'm just going to leave it at that. If you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe. And if you want more of my content, please follow my social Instagram or Twitter. Or if you like weebs talking about random otaku stuff, please just follow the podcast. Links are in the description, as well as my co-host. So give them a sub as well. Why not? But yeah, I hope I see you guys next time, and peace!